Okay, so this might ruffle a few feathers, but I keep seeing this trend pop up within art social media, and we need to talk about it because it's awful. You know those posts that go something like, "No one's bought anything from my shop this month. I feel like giving up." Or, "I worked so hard on my coloring book and no one even liked it." The term for this is PT marketing, and unfortunately it's everywhere, and it gives me major secondhand embarrassment. And whoa, before you say anything, yes, being vulnerable online can be very powerful. Sharing your struggles is important in the world of social media that is this kind of constant, never-ending highlight reel. But hear me out. Your audience is not your emotional caretaker. When this kind of PT engagement is the only thing that's keeping your wharf and your business afloat, this is not good or sustainable. Guilt does not translate to loyalty. People might buy a couple of times out of guilt. But are they coming back? Probably not. Rightfully, I want to say. Because let's be honest, this emotional pull doesn't foster a community. There's going to be no genuine support, let alone repeat customers for your business. And also, it creates this really wild power dynamic. Like your followers online are somehow responsible for your success, and somehow they owe you that success and engagement. And that's not fair. That's simply untrue. They didn't sign up for that. They're here for a good time, to be entertained, maybe learn more about your products. But they're not here to pull you out of the woods. Just because you're struggling, you're not entitled to their business. I'm sorry, but it's true, even though it may be a very hard pill to swallow. I say it with utmost love. No one deserves success just because they worked really hard. Unfortunately, even the most talented endeavors fail, and sometimes the worst things rise to the top. Because social media presence, creating your business, putting yourself out there, and doing those things well and consistently, yes, it's a ticket. But it's not like a train or a plane ticket. It's a lottery ticket, and it may never ever work out, and that's not your audience's fault. That's just the brutal truth. Like, I myself can spend hours, days, months on something, and then when it comes to putting it out in the world, get absolute crickets. And guess what? Unfortunately, it is what it is. I'm not entitled to anything. And if we're actually serious about moving forward, improving and growing, maybe a better question to ask is, what could I have done differently? Why didn't this work out? What could I do better next time? And most of all, how can I support myself financially, emotionally, spiritually while I'm figuring this all out? Because it's really not wise to put all your eggs in that social media fame bucket and then guilt trip your audience because it didn't work out. And to touch on the fact that sharing your vulnerabilities online can actually be powerful, help you connect, and help others avoid some pitfalls and mistakes, maybe instead of posting,
"I'm quitting if this doesn't sell,"
we could make content that says something along the lines, I don't know, of, "Hey, this didn't quite land the way I thought it would. Could you give me any honest feedback, you guys? If you have a second, I would genuinely love to hear what you think." Boom, now that's a conversation that's not guilt-tripping anybody. And yes, you will get trolls and negative comments, etc., but you may also get genuine feedback. And frankly, if you're putting yourself out online, I think you do need to work on sort of growing thicker skin and developing this skill of interpreting the comments, whether positive or negative, in the way that's actually beneficial to you, not just expecting everyone to clap. And regardless of your approach, you kind of need to give people some reasons to follow your journey beyond emotional blackmail. Would you agree? And look, there are slow days, slow months. Sometimes stuff does feel like the best option would be to just give up. And sometimes, rarely, but sometimes, it may be if this is what will preserve your sanity, your health, and your financial well-being, and your ability to sustain yourself. And remember, even if that happens, that's not the end of the world. You can always regroup and try later, but you also need to live in the now and prioritize the now. But maybe leaning more into joy and learnings, even if things flop. Maybe that's the answer. Maybe that's the way to really connect with others and laugh, cry together. And then when something does go well, you'll know that it's not because of pity, but because people genuinely enjoyed it. And what a massive win that is. And this whole spiel is not me throwing shade on struggling artists. We've all been there, we all get it. But pity really isn't a business model. And I think we deserve more than fleeting sympathy. We deserve real connection, growth, and sales that come from genuine desire to purchase and based on actual value that people see in your work. So what do you think? Is PT marketing flooding your feed as well? Or have you even considered doing it yourself? Let's chat about it in the comments, if you're brave. And by the way, another trend within the art sphere that really irks me is how social media really ruined hobby art. And the next video is exactly about that.